Hi, Michelle from Michelle's Reading Rockstars here to talk to you a little bit about social emotional development for children that are about at that preschool kindergarten age. So one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about before I even show any books are some ways that we can help children identify their emotions, because of course labeling emotions is the first step to being able to understand them and how to interact with others and make the right, what's considered an okay choice, an acceptable choice as well, and not be ruled by emotions. So you guys are gonna laugh because obviously I'm a book lady and I am a social worker, but I am not an artist. But this is something that you can do with your kids even when they're young, is just draw a couple pictures. You can get a lot more creative than this. And we've got a smiley face, a sad face, and an angry face here. You can label them if you want. And one of the best ways that you can do this before kids can even learn how to read is just when a child is in the middle of something, or when they get up every day and go to bed, or if they're having a tantrum, you can have them point to this and say, how are you feeling right now? And that can help them label their emotions. You could make this really fun with older kids by cutting out pictures from magazines, or like for my kids, we do a lot of games like show me happy, show me sad. And it's funny, it makes the kids laugh, but something you could do is you could take some photos and make a chart like that with some photos. In fact, I think I'm gonna do that soon for my kids. And that way, it gets them to stop and think about, what am I feeling and how can I connect this to what my behavior is and how can I make an appropriate choice? Because social emotional development, especially for kids going into kindergarten, has a lot to do with understanding a little bit deeper. A lot of times they don't understand why they feel a certain way, just that they feel it. And so it's getting them to understand that and also recognize how other kids might be feeling so that they can show compassion towards them. If you're looking for some books to help teach this, one of the books that I really love is A Tale of Two Beasts, because this book shows perspective and compassion by telling the story from two sides. It's all about this girl, and she finds this beast in the woods, and she takes it home, and she thinks she's doing this really, really great thing by taking it home and making it a pet and caring for it, and the beast runs away because it doesn't like being held captive. And the little girl is really confused. And so you see the story from her perspective and then from the beast's perspective. And it explains, why and he didn't like that and what his thoughts were and all of that. And then at the end, they kind of come to a happy medium too. So it has a nice ending, but it's a really great platform for being able to talk to your kids about how there are more than one side to there's more than one side to every single story. So I really like that one. If your kiddo is struggling with some school anxiety or just new situations in general, this is a book I would definitely recommend. This is Jonathan James and the What If Monster. It also comes in hardcover if you prefer that, and you can also purchase a little plush monster. It's very soft, like a little pillow. My kids actually sleep with it. So it's very sweet. It's all about a boy that has all of these fears about things that are going on. Just everything, basically. What if you tumble? What if there's wind? What if you slip and your knee gets all skinned? And it goes through that for a while, talking about, typical child fears, trying new foods, going new places. But then at the end, it talks about, what if the chance I take in the end is just how I find my very best friend? And you can see that the him and the What If Monster are now at peace with one another. So this is a great jumping off point for talking to kids about, hey, what's your What If Monster? What are you scared about? I'm going to share some more tips for handling school anxiety, but just so that you guys have an idea of some things that you could use to start talking about with kids. For your slightly older kids, I probably wouldn't recommend this for under 5, but these are really good, this series. We have No Worries, we have Hello Happy. No Worries, again, is for kids that are kind of struggling with some anxiety or stress. And this Hello Happy is really great for kids that are struggling with some anger, some depression, but you don't necessarily have to be really struggling with super, super intense emotions to use this. This is a great book that at the kindergarten and first grade age, you can do with them. They can't do it probably on their own, but what's great is that you can see it's got the pictures I'm feeling, and you have to draw the faces on here, so kind of a little bit of what we were talking about before, how to calm yourself. You can write down your feelings. So this is a great way of being able for kids to visualize how they're feeling and process it. So this is a really great way that you can really work with kids on socio-emotional growth and development as well. Another big part of learning how to navigate the school system is, of course, learning social norms and social cues, right? All of a sudden, you have to sit in a line and you have to sit crisscross applesauce and wait your turn. And these things can be hard for kids. I know they are for my son still sometimes. So along with that, of course, comes manners. This is a really great book for working on manners. Again, this book has a lot of information, so it's really good for that kindergarten and up age. The little kids might be a little overwhelmed by it. It's all about this raccoon, and he stumbles into this magical world of where they learn all about manners, this school. So one thing that's nice about this, it's already set in a school setting. So it's got tons of examples of different things that you might have to deal with in school, like working with other people and sharing. And so this is a really great book for just tackling some of those social norms as well. Of course, any book that you're working with, one thing I really like to do is take turns with the kids, pointing things out and talking so that they kind of have to learn to wait and stuff like that. So you can certainly work on things without a book, but this is another good resource that I have. Another one that kind of goes along with social norms and stuff, this is a book all about inclusion. This is hands down one of my kids' favorite books. This is called Can I Join Your Club? And this book is all about this duck that wants to join a club. And every club that he tries to join, he's denied because he cannot make the sound or look like the animal. It's actually really funny. You can use a lot of voices and stuff, which my kids like, but at the end, he forms his duck club and everybody's allowed. And so it's really a great book for talking about inclusion and kindness in a way that kids appreciate and understand. The last thing I'll say about social emotional growth that is important for kids when they're going into school has to do with conversation. It can be really difficult for kids to take turns while speaking and to learn to give and then actively listen. I know for my own kids, a lot of what they do is when they get really excited, they want to get everything out, and then they really have a hard time taking in and listening to what you're saying. So that is a big part of growing up, right, in general. And of course, that is something you can practice. We practice a lot at the dinner table, going around and kind of sharing a little bit about our day or in the car. But if you would like some resources for that, some books that I really recommend. These are great for speech as well, but because they don't have a lot of words in them. But they are also really, really great for working on active listening and encouraging conversation as well as narrative skills as well. So this is You Choose, and what they do is they look at the page and they say where they would want to live or where they'd want to visit and who they would like to have as their family and friends, etc. This is a great book because you can use it as a jumping off point and say, well, why? And really talk to them about it. And then you go and you explain why you would. And if you have other siblings like we do in our household, they also get a turn, which means that it becomes a working conversation. Story Path is another book. This is like a choose your own adventure. I can never get it open, where they really have to pick where they're going with each one, and then they can explain it. So again, these books are all kind of similar in theory, but all slightly different. Choose Your Own Journey, another great one, and they have to pick, which method they're going by. So again, this is similar to Story Path as well. Fun, maybe for slightly younger kids, this one. But just so you can see some ideas of things you can do to work on conversation with your kids. Hope you found that helpful. Thanks. Bye.